few days ago, my mom was driving me home from my friend's house. It was the 23rd of December, so naturally we were playing Christmas music in the car the whole way home. One of the songs that we heard on the radio was "You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch," and of course having severe ADHD, that was more than enough to send my brain down a rabbit hole of thoughts. This eventually led me to a moment of clarity, a moment so strong, so impactful, so life-changing it would change how I saw the very world, and this fact was that the Grinch was the good guy all along. I think it's important for me to first go over the plot of the movie. If you haven't seen the Grinch, any of the Grinch movies, you're probably lying, everyone's seen the Grinch. But even I haven't seen the full movie in many years, so let's go for a very brief overview of the plot. Ugly Green Man gets bullied to the point where he wants to steal everybody's Christmas presents. And then he does. Told you the summary would be brief. Even though he's been bullied to the point where he definitely deserves a few gifts as compensation, at the end of the film he actually gives back the presents to everyone, just in case you had somehow forgotten that you were watching a Disney movie. So the problem with this movie really lies in the first sentence of my summary. Ugly Green Man gets bullied. Just like everyone in my generation, I think that the worst crime a human being can possibly commit is to hurt someone else's feelings. You know, who cares if the Grinch broke into people's houses, stole things, toys, mostly from children, committed several war crimes in Argentina? Doesn't really matter because his feelings were hurt, guys. And that's what really matters. I mean, I'm joking, but come on. There's a full song, a full musical number in the movie dedicated to how he's mean and ugly. And until recently, I didn't really think about this too much. It had been a long time since I'd seen the movies. I saw it when I was really young, so I always just kind of assumed that the reason they hated him so much, the reason they were always bullying him so much was because he stole Christmas, and in which case, that's a very valid reason to hate someone. I would hate someone if they stole Christmas from me, so power to them. But that's just not actually what happened. The musical number and all the insults come way before he ever steals Christmas, so they just don't like him. They're just being dickheads, really. The other thing that oddly annoys me about this movie is how he actually gives the presents back after he steals them from everyone. Like, I get it's supposed to be this whole message of, you do the right thing and people will forgive you and whatever. It's supposed to be a message, it's Dr. Seuss, of course it's supposed to be a message, but it really doesn't work in this movie. Because if you think about it, if he had never stolen the presents in the first place, he would have never been able to give them back and redeem himself. He didn't do the right thing. The right thing wasn't to give them back. The right thing was to just not steal them in the first place. So it really annoys me because he never would have been accepted by the people if he never stole them in the first place. If he did the right thing from the very beginning, no one would have ever forgiven him and he would have lived a miserable life. So really, his negative actions ended up paying off pretty well in the end. This whole attempt at giving meaning to the story ends up actually leaving a much more messed up moral to the story, which is this. If you ever get bullied, just remember, kids, break into your bully's home, steal their shit, and then give it back to them afterwards. They're sure to like you, and I promise you won't get arrested. Obviously, I'm exaggerating, but the whole redemption message that they try to go for doesn't make nearly as much sense as what I just said. Time to give this video a plot twist. Maybe it's obvious because of my clear lack of knowledge, but I haven't watched this movie in about 3 years. I just had an epiphany in the car the other day about how the Grinch was a good guy, and I decided it would be a funny video to make, wouldn't it? Making this video has felt a lot like when I used to do full book reports in elementary school on a book I never read, so let me know if I passed. Hopefully I did. See ya.